Kathy here from Kathyskutekreations. Today we're going to be doing the cotton cuts in the name of the rose. Hopefully we can see that. This is going to be 9 of 10, and there is my color wave. And I am Team Night Owl. And let me show you my fabrics down here, and then we're going to get started. That the block of the month is the bow tie, just like it was for the last cotton cuts. And like I said, this is month 9, so there's one more before we put this together. Here are the pieces we got this month, and let's get started. All right, we're going to combine 2 F's, 2 D's, and 2 A's and 2 D's. And that's what we're going to make first. And then we're going to complete one of our blocks with those. So let's stop, chain stitch these, and then we'll add the pieces that go to this next. Alrighty, so I started out with a leader ender because it wants to eat my fabric. It's tried to do it twice now, so let's see if I can get going from here. There we go. So I'm just using a number 12 needle, white thread, in the bobbin as well as the needle. Now let's go ahead and continue with our half square triangle. So it is telling us in the next step that we're going to connect an F and an E. It says it wants 4 of these. Well, I just went back to look at that little clip that I made, and I've already sewed the wrong 2 pieces together, so I had to take them apart. So I took, like I said, I took those 2 apart, and I have already sandwiched these 2 together so I can make them, or put them together. I didn't sandwich them yet, but because I just want to do all of these half square triangles together. Now we'll cut them all apart and iron them open. When you're finished, you'll have 2 D's and F's. Over here we have A and D. I'm sorry, D and A. These are the D's up here at the top, the pinkish color. And then down here we have F, because this is an F, and an E. And we have 4 of them. Okay, so we're going to sew this together, and you want to make sure that these F's go together, okay? And then we're going to sew this together, and you want to make sure that these D's go together like that on the top, all right? And then we're going to connect them and make our square. Now I'm making sure that my seam on my half square triangle is going downward so it doesn't flip up on me. Let's cut these and press them open. Okay, so it wants us to set it up so that we have our D and our A on the top and the F with the F and the D on the bottom. And we're going to do 2 sets of those. Now, if this is the first time that you're tuning in to my channel because you saw this advertised, let me explain to you what I do about avoiding taking the tips off. So I will mark it, and I'll make sure that my friction pen, which is a erasable pen mark, I mark above where the 2 pieces of thread meet, where the stitch is. It's on this side, but it is on this side as well. So I have to mark this on both sides. And then I will show you how I sew these to avoid taking the tips off. So I will mark both of my sets here. And then I will pin them. We'll do one side and then I'll do the other side. So I will pin. My sewing machine comes down from the top this direction. So I will make sure that I pin, whoops. First I will start at the top of my fabric up here. I'll come down to the part that I'm going to sew. And since I'm coming this direction, I'll make sure that I can cross over this before I have to take my pen out. So I know that my needle is in my fabric. I'm going to flip my fabric over. I'll pin this in down here. And then I will pin, because I'm going to come down from this end, down here. So I'm going to pin. It's pinned on two sides. And then what I'll do is right here where I will end up stopping, I'll put an extra pin so that I know I'm going to be stopping about in the middle there. And I'll pin both of them the same way. Just take your time. Try not to go over your pins unless your sewing machine likes it. I'm going to turn it upside down and we're going to start over on this side, just like we were starting from the very beginning. And you can just keep on coming and go over your stitching. We'll do the other one the same exact way. Then we'll take a look at them. And you can make your stitch larger if you would like. If you're a little bit uncomfortable doing this your first couple times around, you can put a basting stitch on that. This way it'll be easier to take it apart if you have to. I'm going to come down a little bit more. I can see my pin right there. Flip it over. Start over. Now let's take a look at it. I have two like that, and it says to press the top to the bottom, so that's what we did. Now we already made our F's and E's, so we're going to attach them to the E's. And they go just like that. F, E, E. And there's going to be four of them. Although, when we put these together, you're not going to be able to see them. They're going to be facing downward on the opposite side. Just be real careful when you start it. And you can feel it with your finger before you put it underneath your needle. Just like this. You can feel that it's facing downward. Put your foot down on the fabric. Then put your needle in the fabric, which holds on to it, so it has no slippage, and then go across it. But just take your time, because it's going to tug a little bit, and it's going to want to resist that big bulk. Now we're going to cut apart, and we're going to iron them open. Now you're going to take your four, and you're going to flip them. So this is the way they look like when they came out. Then you're going to take it, flip it like this, and you're going to make a block like that, so that you end up with the F down here and the F up here. So we're going to do two of them, just like that. Let's go ahead and sew these two. Now we're going to add the F rectangle to the squares we just made, so we'll make two sets of those. Let me show you how I mark these, because the spot that we need to see is under here to avoid going over the tip. So here's what I do. First I open it up and I mark it. Make sure that I mark it far enough so that I can see it on both sides. Then I flip back my seam, and then I take my marking and I go ahead and mark over this spot that I flipped back over. And then what I'll do is, when I come down here and I start sewing, I'll stop and follow this red line and come over the bump there and do it that way. If you want to, even though the directions tell us to press the top to the bottom, if you want to open this, which you can do, it's going to be your preference, then what you would do, you would open it and you would mark on the inside to avoid the thickness here if you want to. It's going to be all in your discretion, whatever y'all want to do. Now we're going to take our time, because this bump is going to be a lot for some sewing machines to go across. So just take your time, and you know that you can help feed this. I'll show you what I'm talking about when we get down here to this area. And you can also mark your entire stitch on this side if you want. Now you can grab a piece of your fabric down here at the bottom and slowly tug on it when you go over this big old bump if your machine does not want to go across it. And once I grabbed the part that folds over, that's when I took my pin out. Now we're wrapping up these two blocks here. Let's iron these open. Completed, and we are going to name them Section 9. I hope you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. You can make a comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks everybody for watching. Bye-bye.